Hi everybody, thanks for stopping by. My name's FM18 and you're watching the Dafuge Challenge, episode 21 with Enfield Town FC. Well, after St. Albans, we hosted Wealdstone, and they saved the draw on this. Thomas Sharp had an 84th minute goal that was just, I'm not going to call it weak, but it was definitely a gift. Montel Moore had a brace. Kane Richards had the other goal for Wealdstone. And this was one of those games where they had more shots than us, but they had as many on target. They're a little bit tighter formation than we were, but we did really well. I was getting ready to celebrate the win, and then we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. After that came the 5-2 win at Chelmsford. Jack Compton had both the Chelmsford goals, one in the 33rd minute, one in the 45th minute. I played a fairly rotated side this game, as you can see by the roster. This game came 2 days after the Wealdstone game. Montel Moore had a 29th minute penalty kick. Lucas Green-Birch had a 67th minute goal. Greeny had a 77th minute goal. Chalice Johnson had an 80th minute goal. Ashton had an 87th minute goal. And Moore missed a penalty goal in the 50th minute, so it could have been even worse. However, as you will see, the good news about winning this game at Chelmsford City, we clinched the league. With 3 games left to go, and that is because in the last 2 games, St. Albans lost 1 and drew 1. Our initial budget for next year is $8.25K. We still don't have a transfer budget. And you know what? I am okay with that. That's £2,300 to work with, and that doesn't include the players who are going to be leaving. Last season, we lost £136,000. This season, we only lost £86,000. That's really good. Yeah, that leaves us in debt still, but I think at the beginning of the summer, I'm going to try and go on a coaching course. They will probably say, no, we have no money, but nothing ventured. And we were 35-1 odds to win. Boreham Wood were the preseason favorites, and they're currently in 8th. They have an outside chance of qualifying for the playoffs. Well, I think here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play Salisbury, Hampton Richmond Borough, and Hemel Hempstead Town offline. We'll have an end-of-season review, and then we will go into the summer transfer window and wrap everything up, I want to say with a neat little bow, but it probably won't happen that way. And then we will start off our season in the Vanarama. Back in a bit. One little thing to note, the National League South Player of the Year shortlist has been announced. Tom Ashton and Lucas Green-Birch are both on it, as is Elvis Odom, as is Kieran Monlewis. That's interesting. I'm surprised he's on there. He had a good season, but I don't know that it was definitely award-worthy. And we voted for Alex Hurst. This is the overall best 11. I want to say Green, Kilgore, and Greeny are the only 3 original members of the team who are in this. Possibly Ray. I'd have to go back and check as well. But everyone else on the best 11 is a player I've brought in or a loan player. Odom made it in his first year. It's well-deserved. Green-Birch, if he wasn't on here, I would be really, really surprised. End of the season awards were, as expected, Lucas Green-Birch with 51%, Tom Ashton with 26%. Joe Ray is kind of a surprise at 14%, but the guy's been solid in the midfield. I could have asked for a better player at this level for that position, I think. Kieran Monlewis had the goal of the season. This goal was the volley that happened 2 videos ago, where he was at the top of the box and volleyed it in. Jack Wakely was my signing of the season on a free, which I can agree with. He's been here longer than either Lewis Lomas or Lyons Foster. Young player of the season, Lucas Green-Birch. I suspect Dauber is the only one in goal because he's the one that got the majority of the games. I frankly would have put O'Brien there, but that's just me. Season review-wise, we more than exceeded expectations. Did use a decent amount of players this year, 27. I'm okay with that. Keeps everyone healthy, especially with some of the scheduling going on early in the season. our match of the season, I don't know that I'd say the 3-2 win at Whitehawk. I would think the FA Trophy game where we ended up being 2 players down and took Tranmere to a tie would be it. But yeah, this 5-2 loss at Bournemouth, definitely the one to forget. Last time we were in second place was 10 games into the season. Captured first place after that, never let it go. We tried to a couple of times. St. Albans and Bath City did come close more than once, but we held on. Now, I have to admit to a major PBKCAC error with this one. And PBKCAC, for those wondering, is an acronym. PBKAC stands for Problem Between Keyboard and Chair. And I have more than my fair share of these, let me tell you. So, much like happened last year, our stadium is too small for the Vanarama, so we have to expand it. The board is taking out a loan of $1.6 million to bring Queen Elizabeth II Stadium up to 4,000 seats I want to play. But we're not going to be able to play on it while they're doing the expansion. So we're paying just under £5,000 a month to rent Plough Lane next season. Plough Lane is the home pitch of AFC Wimbledon. When I went to check it out, AFC Wimbledon is in the process of expanding Plough Lane from 10,000 seats to 20,000 seats. And I will admit, I absolutely freaked. When I went to check it out, I didn't connect the dots. I saw Plough Lane, I saw 20,000 seats, and I thought, holy bleeping hell, what the hell is my board thinking, putting us in a 10,000 seat stadium and then spending money to expand it to 20,000 seats when I'm barely bringing in 600 people as it is. And don't get me wrong, I am quite proud of that attendance. And I literally beat myself up for 5 minutes because I'm thinking, that's no money for training facilities. That's no money for youth facilities. That's no money for an expanded coaching budget. That's no money for things that we need to do. If there's one thing I've learned in playing lower league football, the all of 2 years I've been playing Football Manager, it's that if you get too big, too fast, without a decent support structure, you're going to end up hurting yourself in the long term. I suspect if I spent the time and energy, and my wife didn't kill me because I was spending the time and energy doing it, I could get us promoted to the Premier League within 8 to 10 years. On the SI forum, in the Dafuge Challenge threads, there's people who have gone from the Vanarama National North or South to the Premier League in 7 or 8 years. Don't know how legitimate they are, but they got there. But when they get there, they have a team that, say for example, it has a £100,000 wage budget. They have 4 players making £20,000 apiece, and it's their 4 best players, and the rest of their squad is divvying up that other £20,000. And by tactics and luck, they've managed to get their way to the Premier League. And they have poor youth facilities, poor training facilities, poor data facilities. They don't have the coaching qualifications, and now their board, which has been spending money hand over fist to increase the stadium size so they meet the requirements of the Vanarama, of League 2, of League 1, of the Championship, now might have to spend money again so it meets the Premier League level. And then 2 or 3 years later, they're falling back down because they don't have the facilities to attract the players they need to stay up, and they're overpaying for the players that are there who may not be as good as the players they need to stay up. This is going to be a gradual process. I have no illusions about that. I suspect if the stars aligned and everything fell right, we could get promoted to League 2 next year. I really don't want to do that. Yeah, it would be a feather in my cap as a coach, but we're not ready for it. I think staying in the Vanarama is going to be... This year, we're going to be fighting to stay above the relegation. I think we can do it. Especially if I have a good scouting season this summer. And I think once we get there, you'll agree that I've done pretty well. So this year is staying above relegation. Next year is mid-table or better finish. Third year is playoffs. If we get into the playoffs and we get promoted, I'm happy with that. If we get to the playoffs and we don't get promoted, yeah, I'll be upset. But that means the fourth year we're challenging for a playoff spot, if not the outright title. And then we're in League 2. I expect the same process to happen. 2 or 3 years in the league, and then we're up. I can't imagine that we'll be in any one league more than 5 years, unless we get to like the championship, and then that could be a tough league to break through, especially as promotion spots are rare. But as it stands, the board is expanding Queen Elizabeth II Stadium to 4,000 seats. They took out a loan of $1.6 million, which means we're paying, I want to say, a total of £15,000 a month. That's including the money we're paying because of our previous expansion. But it's needed, and, you know, it's not a bad pitch. It's really not. And there's plenty of space to expand. If we can stay in this location and expand, you know, eventually I would love a state-of-the-art 24,000 seat stadium in Enfield. Yeah, you can have your Emirates or your whatever with your 80,000, 120,000 seats. That's just, I don't know, it's a bit too much for me. But then again, I'm kind of weird like that. The other thing that happened was the board had to inject £120,000 to help with the club's running costs. I knew this was going to happen, and £120,000 in the grand scheme of things is not all that much, considering this time last year it was close to, £180,000? And the fact is, if we hadn't had the FA Trophy runs and the FA Cup runs we had, this would have been a lot worse. Our finances right now are insecure, which is sort of to be expected. I think if I have a good couple years in the Vanarama, I can get those up, especially if we have a good cup or trophy run. My goal when we get to League 2 is to be in the black. And I think that's perfectly doable, especially if we start getting more butts and seats as it is. You know, if I can get the 4,000 seats of our new stadium half full, I know we'll be doing a lot better in terms of breaking closer to even. And that's the other thing I really want to avoid. I don't want to show up in the Premier League and have my finances be an absolute ruin and end up getting relegated because we go into receivership or something like that. Honestly, I think what's going to happen is the club is going to get too big for the supporters' trust, and they will turn around and sell it to an owner. But I don't know, I think it'd be kind of cool to be the only team in the Premier League that's supporter-owned and operated. I don't know, that'd be a nice feather in the cap. Lucas Green Birch won the National League South Player of the Season. 37 league appearances, 37 goals, 14 assists, 7.61 rating. Had the most votes. This was the season I expected him to have last year, but he spent most of last year injured, and Tom Ashton really stepped it up. Ashton had a great year this year, too. The two of them together are a really potent strike partnership. I'm hoping Port Vale will loan him back out to us again. I can't imagine why they wouldn't. I mean, he's been getting a ton of growth for us. I mean, he's grown a lot playing for us, and they're getting a better player back than the one they left. You know, honestly, if push comes to shove and they're asking for a salary contribution, I'll fall over myself. I'll be rushing to pay that as fast as I can. Lucas Green Birch was the top goal scorer in the Vanarama National League South this year. Ashley Pope at Bath City was in second place with 28 goals and 3 assists. Tom Ashton was in the third. I think what's really surprising to me is not only did he have 26 goals, he also had 18 assists. He led the team in assists. And last year, he led the team in scoring and assists. It was phenomenal. In some other good financial news, we've got a new jersey sponsor. It's a 2-year deal worth £33,500 a year. Our previous deal was 1 year at £12,400. So a 2-year deal giving us almost 3 times as much money. This is really going to help us out. It'll help our finances out quite a bit, actually. Brings us that much closer to breaking even and actually making a profit. Now, I don't have a screenshot of the next one saved. It's the one right above this says new scouting budget. New scouting budget's the same as the old scouting budget, £10,750. And we're going to use a bit of it, I think, this year. I won head coach of the year. I'd like to say this was a surprise, but given the year we had, it would have taken another coach at another team doing something fantastic, like taking a team that was picked to finish bottom of the league and putting them in the playoffs. So I think actually Neil Hiller did that with St. Albans City. I think they were expected to finish in a relegation fight. The fact that they finished third in the league was a great accomplishment. But once we went on that unbeaten, or once we got to the top of the table and we stayed there all season, it would have taken something extraordinary for me not to win Coach of the Year. And that just didn't happen. I've had it happen in other saves, where I've had like a really good season, but this coach came in, took a team that was picked to finish the bottom of Ligue 1 when I was in my Dunkirk save in FM18. I picked to finish the bottom of Ligue 1, and he took him to 5th place. It was phenomenal, and he really deserved the Coach of the Year for that one. I actually broke my record of winning it. I was going to, would have been 7 years in a row for me, but this regen coach won it. It was a really, really special thing to see. So yeah, as a follow-up, the repayment is £14,000 a month based on the new loan we just took out. That doesn't include the £500 we were paying on our previous loan. I don't know why you can't consolidate it and make just one lump payment. That would probably be too easy, but that's where we are currently. Well, this is another troubling issue I've been running into. Since I started this save, I've been trying to find an affiliate. Any affiliate. Each time I go to the board, I say, look, we need a senior affiliate for loan players, for a variety, whatever reasons are available to me, I just pick one and I go with it. And the board is like, yeah, sure, we agree. We'll get back with you in about a month on an answer. Now I know in past saves, it's given me the option of, hey, do you want to look for the affiliate, or would you rather we do that? It doesn't give me that option this time, and I'm not quite sure why. And I'll be honest, I'm starting to get a bit frustrated with it, because 2 weeks after they agree that, yeah, we could really use a senior affiliate, they come back and they say, yeah, we're sorry, we can't find anybody. 20 teams in the Premier League, 24 teams in the Championship, 24 teams in League 1, 24 teams in League 2, and you can't find a senior affiliate for us. That, my friends, is what we call a blivet. And for those who aren't aware of what a blivet is, it's 10 pounds of crap in a 5-pound bag. You'll notice, new background, new season, new skin. I'm using the OPZ Elite 2560 skin. This is the version 1.4 of that skin. It's available on FM Scout and a couple other sites. I'll leave a link to it below. You also have to download the stadium photos from the flute skin for this. But one of the things it does is whatever stadium you're at, it puts it up as the background. I'm really liking it so far. I got a couple minor quibbles with it, but then again, I have a couple minor quibbles with almost any skin I use. But anyhow, back to my main point. Darren Purse is my assistant coach, and he's a pretty good assistant coach. Could be better, could be worse. But when this came across, and I saw Enfield Town would be covering the fee for it, I about fell out of my chair. He's already got a Continental A license. I don't have a single license to my name. I don't even have a Continental C. And I've been going to the board every 6 months or so saying, hey, how about a coaching course? Hey, how about a coaching course? I would love if there was an option for you to take a coaching course and pay for it out of your own pocket. That'd be brilliant, to be honest with you. But I saw this come up, and I went back to the board, and I was like, okay, what gives? And the board was like, you know what? We agree. And your coaching course, we can probably pull out of the spare change that's hidden in the chairs in the boardroom. So we'll send you on a coaching course. So finally, yes, 3 years into a project, I finally get off to go to do my coaching course. So we'll see what happens. So we are well on our way to Continental Pro. Although at this rate, it's going to be 15 years before they'll send me off for that. I'm here for the long haul anyways. And on that happy note, I'm going to end this episode here. Now, I've already done the off-season, done the transfer moves, the preseason, and the first couple games in the Vanarama. The problem is the summer transfer moves are 35 minutes in and of themselves, because I made quite a few. And I go into more detail than I should have, probably. I can edit some of that down, but even if I do that, this video is going to end up being close to 45, 50 minutes long, and I just don't want to do that. But we're moving up. We're moving forward. Enfield Town FC is going to be in the Vanarama National. I think we have a very good chance of avoiding a relegation fight. My goal is mid-table. Maybe that's reaching a bit beyond ourselves, but I think that's the only way we're going to get ahead. We're building the framework for future club success. The stadium expansion, yeah, it's costing us a bit of money, but it's necessary. On the other hand, getting a coaching certificate is the first step of the ladder up. And frankly, we're a year or two ahead of where I thought we would be when I first started this save. I should have the summer transfer video out Friday, and then the first episode of the new season out Saturday. Keep your eyes open for that. If you liked what you've seen and heard, please like and subscribe to the channel for more FM content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave them down below. I do my best to answer each and every one of them. My name's FM Jellico, and I thank you for watching.